everyone, Amanda here. I just thought I would share a process with you. I'm going to be turning this old book into a journal, and I'm basically using the cover. Now, I've been inspired to do this by Ephemera's Vintage Garden, who is Debbie. I'll leave a link in the description box below to her channel. She does a lot of journals using this kind of a formula. This is her kind of way of doing it, and I just thought I'd have a go. I really like the idea of reusing the hardback book covers to save on using chipboard, and then you can use the book pages for other things. So I thought I'd have a go. So this is an old Reader's Digest, probably late 70s, early 80s. It's nothing special. I think I paid 50p for it from a charity shop. So following one of Debbie's videos, Ephemera Vintage Garden, I've removed the pages. It's quite easy to do. You just basically be very careful you don't cut the spine. And that has removed all of those pages. Now I can use that to make another journal. I could remove some of those pages and make like an altered book and make a new cover, or I can just use these in my general crafting, using up the book pages. Not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. And what I've done on the inside here, I have lined each of the inside lining pages with some scrapbooking paper. I've got stacks of the stuff that I've had lying around literally for 7 years or more, so I need to start and try and use some of them up. And the idea of this style of book is you use vintage images merely for decoration, not for the main pages, maybe the odd one or two. So I'm going to give it a try, and also try and make a lot of my own ephemera, and just digital images here and there. Use up some scrapbooking paper that I've got, and just see if I can do it without relying on Andrea's artwork to make my journals. I do love Andrea's journals. I love them. I'll never stop buying her and using her kits. I love them. I just thought I'd try something different. So you can see I have changed the cover already. Didn't come like this. It had this, don't know if you can just see at the edge there, this like horrible 70s stroke early 80s swirly pattern, and it is a kind of a fabric like woven, and I've distressed the edge just with an emery board, and then I did ink it. And that was before I decided what I was doing really. Then I found this beautiful piece of scrapbooking paper, which is a very old Graphic 45 one called Botanical Tea, and I only had that one sheet. So I've cut it and I've done the front and back with it. I don't quite know what else I'm going to do yet, but I'll probably seal it at the end. I haven't decided what I'm doing with the spine yet. Obviously it's got each Reader's Digest, which is a bit naff, and we've got each of the books because it's like condensed books. So I don't know if I'm just going to cover each of these little squares, whether I'm going to completely cover the spine, whether I'm going to colour it. I don't know yet. I've not decided. So the first process for me will be to pick the pages and get them sewn in. So this spine is roughly 1.5. Let me just see how it's going to fold so that I can. Right, so I want to be measuring that bit there. So it's about 1.5. So I'm going to do a hidden signature sewing, which I've done before, and I did get the idea originally from watching Ephemera Vintage Garden. And what she does is, rather than having the stitching coming out of the spine, she sews it onto a separate piece of, she uses Craftex. I don't have any, I'll still just be using cardstock. Sews it onto there, then glues it to the spine, and then you just cover the little wings with something. I've done it before and it's really successful, and I like it. I don't like always to see the sewing, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go and get some bits and bobs and show you what I'm going to do for the pages, and hopefully if I do a couple of videos it'll give you an idea, because it's the same process whether you're doing a book like this or whether you're doing a TN or a junk journal. It's kind of the same sort of process. You decide on your pages. In this instance I've done my cover first. Decide on your pages, get them together, and then you get your embellishments together. So So I will be back shortly when I've picked some pages. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you a quick glimpse at the papers that I've chosen. I'm gonna do 3 signatures. I'll cut them all to the right size. They're going to need to be about 5 by 7¼ so I've not printed anything new out. I'm going to use just what I've got, and I'm going to use up odd pages from kits, things that I've tea dyed, and things from old books, so it's more in keeping with the idea of a junk journal than a general journal, because basically I'm using up what I've got. I'm not using any junk mail, I don't think. I'll have a look through what I've got, but I'm using just what I've got. I'm not printing anything new out, haven't bought anything. So the first thing that I've got is I've got some of these vintage dictionary pages. I've got loads, I've got heaps. I bought a massive one from a charity shop for next to not a right lot, and I've got loads of it. So then the other thing that I've pulled out is some of the eco dyed pages. This was a free digital image over on Artemis and Friends on Facebook. I'm just gonna either tea dye or stencil and stain the back. I've got some coffee pit dyed paper here, or tea dyed. I've stenciled something on this, I'm not quite sure what. And what I'm going to do is I've got some like fabric doilies. So on some of the other pages I'm going to try and maybe ink through a doily, just making marks on those plainer pages. This is a very old and very yellowed with age Edith Holden that I had gifted by Karen, one of my friends Karen, and I've hoarded it and hoarded it, and so I'm going to use just 3 pages, one in each signature, and they're just, you know, well, they're Edith Holden, so they've got the lovely writing and then some of the lovely pictures on that she did. Okay, and then I've just got some general lined paper that's just tea dyed, and this is left over from a kit. This is, I think this is one of the collage sheets from Artemis. I think this might have been a freebie. I'm not sure. Not sure. And this one as well. I think this is from... is that from the William Morris one? I don't know. But I've just got bits and bobs out of my leftovers. I'm not buying anything or printing anything new out to finish this journal. So I'm going to put them together in the signatures, and then I'll show you what I've done. So what I need to do now is cut everything to 5 by 7. This is a different day. I've got orange nails. If you're observant, you'll notice that. I'm filming in sections as I get stuff done. So what I need to do is cut everything 5 by 7. Now, not everything is going to be 5 by 7. Some of them are going to be smaller because I've done that on purpose so that we've got added interest for, you know, different size pages. They don't have to all be exactly the same. And then when you're flipping through your book, if they're different, then, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? And when you're using vintage ephemera and not all digital images, then, you know, you can't say what size everything's going to be. 5 by 7¼ I beg your pardon, not 5 by 7. I think, is it? Yeah. So like these A4 sizes for my coffee dyed or the digital image ones need to be cut down. So I'm cutting them, I'm folding them in half, and then I'm cutting them to 5 by 7¼ So that's folded in half, 7¼ okay. Keep your pages in order of how you've decided you want them. 5. I think that just needs trimming a right little bit. Might not, hold on. 5 by, that one's alright, leave that as it is. Now this is a digital image one, so I just need to trim off the white bands. So I've just folded it in, that's not folded very even. Fold it in half, trim off your white bands if you've got them, you know, as close to the image as possible. Right, so I know that this needs to be 5, so instead of just cutting off the white band, I'm going to cut it to 5. and then 7 1/4. Quicker, isn't it? There we go, that's that one. And then this is white on the other side, so either I'll tea dye it or I'll stencil or I'll do something on there. I might do some spraying, don't know yet. What's this one? So 5 by 7 1/4, that one's alright, that can stay as it is. I think this just needs cutting in the length. This is the scrapbooking paper, 7 1/4. Put that on there. What's this one? 5 by... That one's fine, that doesn't need cutting. And this one will need cutting, so 5 by 7 1/4. And then, so that's all of my pages. And then what I just need to do, I'm just gonna, and then before I sew them, what I'll do is I'll put them all where I want them, like that, and use paper clips to keep the pages in place. I'm just adding a doily on that one. Okay, and that will go like that. That's a full size one. That will go in the middle. Yes, they're not all going to line up exactly the same because they're not all exactly the same size. Okay, that one, and then the scrapbooking paper, and then I'm adding a doily. I may go back and add either one of these striped bags or a glassine bag, I've not decided yet. So when I've done that, I'll clip them all there, and to make it easier for yourself, because you know it can take a lot of brain power to think of how to do all different pages. So if you're new, just do all 3 signatures the same. Do them exactly the same, put them all in the same order, and that way you're not having to think each time of the layout of what you're doing. Yep, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, doily 8, 9, 10. We've got about 11 pages, including if you count the doilies. Right, but we're going to have 3 signatures. So once those are sewn in, that is going to be enough to fill the the book cover. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these into a piece of cardstock, which I will then glue into here. Now, because I'm not massively experienced at doing this, I'm going to leave a link in the description box below to a really useful video where you're shown how to do the 3 stitch pamphlet stitch really well. Because I blather and you'll probably lose what I'm doing. So I'm going to go do that, and then when we've done that, I'll come back, we're going to glue that in there, and then the decorating is going to be different videos. Alright, I'll be back soon. So I've sewn in all my signatures. Let me just hide my mess. Sewn in all of my signatures. I'll leave a link below of how to do that stitching process, because I'm still quite new to it myself, so I'm not going to be as you know, eloquent and quick at doing it as the link that I'll leave you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this to my book cover. Now I've used some thick cardstock here. I'm going to glue it in, and then these flaps will protrude over here. Now I may well cover them with something else just to make it look a bit tidier, but you know, it's a recycled book, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect, so long as it's held in place and it's not going to move. So what I'm going to do first of all, I'm going to put some of this lovely glue all over the spine, and then I'm going to go into that groove there. Okay, and we're going to have to push this spine to fit. this handmade spine. So I'm putting glue all over. I've clipped my pages together with bulldog clips just to hold them out of my way. Just makes it a bit easier. Okay, so let's just coat all of this with glue. All of this, and I measured this to the same length of my pages, so it's 7 inches. That way it's not going to protrude over the edge of the book. Okay, and then the width is I did just roughly double, so I wanted a 1.5 inch spine, so it's roughly 3 inches, give or take, is that. I kind of do it by eye. And then each of my signatures, I found the middle point, and each of my signatures I made 3 holes, and each hole is 1/4 inch apart. So we've got a set of 3 holes for each signature, 1/4 inch apart. So what I'm going to do now, I've got it all nicely, neatly bundled up, so it's easy to hold. I've not got pages flapping anywhere. These doilies I've got held down with washi tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get these 3 signatures, never mind the rest of this, because you can always cover it over when you're decorating. It doesn't matter where this ends up, as long as these 3 signatures are roughly in the centre of your spine and that it's even top and bottom. That's what we're looking for. And because I've used this 3-in-1, it does give me room for manoeuvre, so I'm just visually looking for the centre there. Okay, it's definitely going to fit within, you know, when I've closed it, because I've made all my pages smaller than my book, so that's not a worry. Nothing's going to protrude. Alright, and if all of my signatures aren't sewn in perfectly straight because I'm still learning, that doesn't matter either, because I've left a gap top and bottom. It doesn't matter. Alright, and then I'm just going to press down at each side and push that extra card there into the grooves of that original book spine. Right, I'm going to get my bone folder and really push that in so that it's nice and tight over that lip, and then press that down, and that glue should hold. So I'm making the same creases in the book that are in the book with my bone folder there, with the cardstock, so that it, and if it's not right you can always go back in and add some more glue. Okay, we want that to finish adhering. Let me just go to the other side before it dries and push that into my book spine. You can see my little dots there where I was measuring. I decided to bring the stitches in 1/4 inch. I was going to do them 1/2 inch apart, and I decided to bring them in. So that doesn't matter that that's showing, I can just cover it up. I'll just go over it with either some duct tape or some more cardstock or some lace. Don't matter if you've got to adjust things as you go, because there's no right or wrong. There's nothing wrong with adjusting as you go. You know, things aren't meant to be perfect. So there we go, and that leaves me room as well in between each cover, either to add pockets here for when the book grows, because I've added embellishments. We've got room there. All right, I'm just going to keep on pressing that with my bone folder so that that card forms the same shape as my book cover and adheres nicely. Okay, just moving down ever so slightly so it lines up. Just keep adjusting it. There we go. So you can see now that the cardstock there is moulding the shape of my book spine, so that's successful as far as I'm concerned. Alright, I do use dental floss for sewing the signatures in. It's nice and strong, it doesn't give, you know, it's not going to go baggy over time, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than linen thread, you know, 40p from B&M Bargains. So now I can take off my washi tape that's holding, in fact I'm just going to leave that till I've finished my cover. I can take my clips out. Okay, These bulldog clips, get yourself a collection of them. You can never have too many. Hold your pages out of the way. So there we go. I just need to tidy up the inside of this cover here. I might add some lace to that, I don't know, just that's purely for aesthetics. It's fine as it is, it's functioning, it's all sewn in, they're all secure, they're fairly straight, and I'm happy with that. So now we're on to the decorating, so I'll do that in a separate video. I hope that helps ever so slightly. If there's anything anybody's not sure about, you know, shoot me a message, and here we can see all of these pages are all nice and neat. Like that one's upside down. Never mind. It don't matter. Nice and neatly in. Hopefully they're not all upside down. You know, do bear in mind which way around you're putting your... that is completely upside down. It doesn't matter, I can just use it as a background and cover it over with the decoration. It's fine, it doesn't matter. Alright, I can take that washi tape off. Use washi tape to hold pages in place and things so that they're not flapping about when you're trying to sew them in. And I've still got a little bit of a gap there in between that signature so that it's got room to grow. By the time you've added your embellishments or your pockets or your tags, then that gap will very quickly disappear. Alright, there we go. Let's get rid of that. Some of my, I would have preferred that to be the other way around. I must have sewn this signature in upside down, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It's fine because they're quite generic plain patterns. It doesn't matter that that middle signature's in the wrong way round. Never mind. Doesn't actually. You're not actually going to be able to tell. So there we go, so that's all done. The next video will be some decorating, and then of course I'll show you when it's done. Thanks for watching, bye!